Hello dear friends, I hope you are all fine and perfect. So we have a question here, and as we can see this is a quadratic equation, and so we are going to solve this quadratic equation. Only we are going to use the completing the square method. It's like nowadays people have stopped using this method, and they've resorted and restricted themselves to using the formula method and the factorization method. But there is this other method, which is the completing square method, which is easy and straightforward. Okay, and so in this video we're going to discuss and know how to use that method. Okay, so let's start. So let's say solutions. With the completing the square method, the first step is making sure that the coefficient of the first term or the highest power is equal to 1. The coefficient of the highest power should be 1. Okay, once you find that it is more than 1, like in this case, or if it is not 1, like in this case, just know that you have to make sure that the coefficient is 1. It can't be less than 1, it can't be more than 1, it must be only 1. So you have to make sure that you make the coefficient equal to 1. So let's do that on this quadratic equation. So what are we going to do? So we have let's say 2x squared, so let's write it. So we have 2x squared minus x minus 3 is equal to 0. So our goal is to make the coefficient of this term equal to 1. So we're going to divide by 2, which is the very coefficient. Even this one here, we divide by 2, we divide by 2, we divide by 2. So make sure that you divide with that coefficient into the whole equation. So we have this into that will give us 1. So we're just going to say x squared, then 1 into 2 into there is 1 here, so meaning 2 into negative 1, that's 1 over 2, which is just half. So this can also be written as negative 1 over 2 x, then this is negative 3 over 2 is equal to 2 into 0, that will give us 0. So we've made the coefficient of the first term or the highest term equal to 1. So that is our first step. Our second step now is, this is the most important part, the completing the square part. Now, on the second step, our focus should be on the middle term. Okay, so looking at the coefficient of the middle term, we know that the coefficient of the middle term is negative 1 over 2. So we have to find half of the coefficient of the middle term. In short, what they want us is to find half of negative 1 over 2. Okay, so now how do I find half of negative 1 over 2? I can find half of any number by multiplying it with 1 over 2. For example, if I have 4, I know half of 4 is 2, but how do I find that? We can find that by multiplying 4 by 1 over 2. So that 4 times 1, that will give us 4 over 2, okay? Then 2 into 4, that will give us 2. So the half of 4 is 2. So let's do that to this negative 1 over 2. Let's find half of it. If you know half of that, you can just go direct by not even multiplying by 1 over 2, because that is straightforward. But in this case, let us find half so that we prove. So negative 1 over 2, half of negative 1 over 2 can be found by multiplying this number times 1 over 2. So we are going to say negative 1 times 1, that will give us negative 1. Then 2 times 2, that will give us 4. So this is half of 1 over 2. Okay, so we've deduced and found out that half of negative 1 over 2 is negative 1 over 4. Then what do we do? So we are now going to do this. So let us first of all write everything the way they are. So you have x squared minus 1 over 2x minus 3 over 2. Okay, this is what we have here. And then that half will be added and subtracted at the same time. So we're going to say plus negative 1 over 4 squared minus negative 1 over 4 squared is equal to 0. Okay, so that half that we found, half of the middle term, will be added and subtracted at the same time. This is nothing actually. If you look at very well, you find that this is the same as negative 1 over 4 to the power 2 minus negative 1 over 4 to the power 2. This is just 0. So you haven't changed anything to this quadratic equation. Okay, then what will be your next step? The positive one, this one, the one you remember we said you add and subtract. Okay, so the one you added is going to be grouped with the first two variables, which is this one and this one. I mean the first two terms. So we're going to say x squared minus 1 over 2x plus the one with plus, which is this one. Then we know that negative 1 squared, that will give us positive 1. Then 4 squared, that will give us 16. Actually, you don't even need to put these brackets now. You can just go ahead and say 1 over 16. Okay, then this constant number, which was alone, should be grouped with this one here. So you have minus 3 over 2. Okay, then we know is minus 1 squared, that is positive 1, over 4 squared, that is 16, is equal to 0. Okay, so we have that. Now here is what you have to do. These you've grouped them together, so you have to deal with them together. This negative 3 over 2 minus 1 over 16. And then this, we know this one, half of the middle term is negative 1 over 4. So this can also be rewritten as x minus 1 over 4. Remember, 1 over 4 was half of the middle term. Okay, then to the power 2. So this can be written like this. So using half of the middle term and the variable x into the power 2. Then let's add this to negative 3 over 2 minus 1 over 16. So we know that the common denominator will be 16. So in short, you are going to evaluate these two. These are just fractions. Okay, so let's evaluate these two. Okay, so now evaluating negative 3 over 2 minus 1 over 16, these are just fractions. So when you subtract these two, you are going to find the answer is going to be negative 25 over 16. Okay, so these have given us this. These have given us this. Then is equal to 0. Okay, then what are you going to do? You are going to take this to the other side. So let's proceed to our next page. So you have x minus 1 over 4 squared. Then we also had negative 25 over 16 is equal to 0. So this will be taken to the other side. So you are going to have x minus 1 over 4 squared. Then this taken to this side, it will be positive. So it will be positive 25 over 16. Then from there, what are you going to do? You are going to just find the square root of this side, the square root of this side. Now remember, once you find square root this side, it should be plus or negative. So in short, what we have is x minus 1 over 4 is equal to plus or negative. Actually, the plus or negative should be written here, plus or negative. Now, you can find the square root of these individual numbers, the numerator and the denominator. For example, the square root of 25 is 5. Then the square root of 16, that will give us 4. Then from there, what are you going to do? You are going to take this negative 1 over 4 this side. So you are going to have x is equal to plus or negative 5 over 4. It is minus here. When it crosses the equal sign, it becomes positive. So you have plus 1 over 4. Then once you reach at this point, this becomes easy. So you have x is equal to, if we start with the plus 1, so we're going to say plus 5 over 4 plus 1 over 4. Okay, so the common denominator is 4. Common denominator 4. Then since you have that 4 into 4, that is 1. 1 times 1, that will give us 1. 4 into 4, 1. 1 times 5, that will give us 5 plus. Okay, so that is our first x value. So you're going to say 5 plus 1, that will give us 6 over 4. Then 2 can go into these numbers. 2 into 6, that will give us 3. 2 into 4, that will give us 2. So that is one value of x. Let us find the other value of x, or x is going to be negative. Okay, negative 5 over 4 plus 1 over 4. So these are fractions. We are going to find negative 4 over 4. Then 4 into negative 4, that will give us negative 1. So these are the two values of x, negative 1 and 3 over 2. And so that is how we solve quadratic equations using the completing the square method. First, you find half of the first you make sure that the coefficient of the highest power is 1. The second, you find half of the middle term and come up with complete the square and then come up with this. So watch the video as many times as you can, so that you understand this other alternative way of solving quadratic equations, apart from using the formula method and the factorization method. This is another very good method and very important and applicable in many other areas, such as finding the minimum and maximum. So I want you to watch our next video. Will be on finding the turning point of a curve using the completing the square method. So you watch this video and then follow up for the next one. Thank you very much and stay blessed.